Julia here from Revel Realty, and it's time for the December 2024 interest rate announcement and housing market update. The Bank of Canada has just announced that they will be lowering interest rates this December.
All right, let's do an Ontario housing market forecast for December 2024. It's already dark outside, it's only 5 p.m., but it's December, right? All right, so as I warm my hands, let's chat about 2025. So, the chatter in the real estate world is that spring 2025 is going to be a busy one for housing. So, we're not quite expecting 40 offers per property or anything, but it's looking to have a lot more activity than it did this past year in 2024. So let's chat about why 2025 will likely be busier. So many workers, especially government workers, have transitioned back to the office this past few months. And for some, their pandemic inspired escapes from city life are now proving to be a little bit challenging. They have longer, more frequent commutes and less time to enjoy actually living, which sure doesn't add a whole lot of spice to everyday life. You know what I mean? So, for this reason, I'm expecting there to be more property listings in the rural areas of Ontario in the coming months. But you need to take this with a grain of salt because cities are also building up and residents are taking note. So, typically, home buyers purchase a property in a neighborhood with a population density they're comfortable with. But the population is growing and there isn't enough affordable housing for everyone. So, things are changing. And with change, people aren't always comfortable with that. So some are actually leaving the cities. From an urban planning perspective, count the number of cranes and closed traffic lanes in your area or around the city. Infrastructure is being built to accommodate more people, but in doing so, it's also slowing people down a lot. Don't get me wrong, urban planners have a tough gig and a lot of red tape to cut through. But the best way to plan for population growth is to be ahead of it rather than playing catch up. And choosing the catch up route is something that we seem to be really good at here in Ontario. There are also zoning changes in the works that could increase the permitted population density within neighborhoods across Ontario. So, zoning impacts everyone, regardless of whether you rent or own property, it affects you. It can affect your enjoyment of the place that you call home. It can affect how long and how you get around town and how many people you interact with or choose not to interact with as you cross paths with them. So, all of these factors shape the energy of a place, be it a town or a city. Because of the increasing density and constant construction, many retirees, as I mentioned, are opting to leave the city to gain more space and just peace, really. The neighborhoods they bought into decades ago have changed so much, and without the concerns of commuting, they're in search of a better quality of life for themselves, and they feel as though they can find that maybe in a suburb or in a town. So this is where the movement map gets interesting. As I mentioned, many workers are looking to move back into the city to improve their commuting time. On the flip side, many retirees are looking to ditch the city in search of more space and peace and serenity. So I don't know about you, but this movement intrigues me because I think it'll play a big role, not only in the upcoming spring housing market, but also in how we shape our communities going forward. Which begs the question, is a small town feel achievable in a big city? The reason this comes up is because I was recently speaking with someone who grew up in a small town from Ontario and later moved to a mid-sized city. They mentioned to me that in living in a bigger place, they missed the daily personal connections and interactions that they once had within their childhood community. So I was wondering, is the small town feel actually achievable in a big city? And on reflecting on this, I kind of think that it depends on the mentality of the people who live there. So obviously it's not feasible for those in a big city to stop and chat and get to know everyone they walk by. Besides, with more people, the odds of you passing the same person multiple times and actually notice go way down. Throw in the fact that people move around so much more often these days. They relocate for work or sometimes just for a general sense of adventure. Families are geographically more widespread across the globe. And all of this, I think, has a large impact on the sense of oneness within our communities. So living on a more global scale, though, isn't a bad thing. It's just different. And it can take time to adjust to changes. These days, community seems to be shaped by the people who actively seek it out. You may be lucky enough to meet a connector who will introduce you into a community that you absolutely adore. And the best way to find those people is to meet a lot of people. You'll know that you've found the sense of community that you're looking for as soon as you find it. If you're in touch with what you're looking for, you will know your people. So keep an eye out for them because they're out there. Okay, my opinion piece is over. It kind of feels like it took kind of like a fortune tellery advice columnist twist, doesn't it? But I hope you'll check out some of my other videos. I love sharing about the Ontario housing market, housing in general, old homes, finance pertaining to homes, and just everything. So I hope you'll join me. I have lots of other videos that you can check out. And yeah, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it.
And just so you know, the next interest rate announcement will be on January 29th, 2025. Whoa, that's weird to say. 2025. Not used to it yet. See you there.